Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Frank. I am the Director of Prospect Management and Research at NPR, and the Apra Byte today is about wealth screenings, what you need to know. So just roughly, here's an outline of what I'm going to be going through. I'll be talking about implementation, vendor testing and calibration, cost and screening variables, and showing off your results. So let's talk about implementation. You might need a wealth screening if you find yourself going into a campaign and need to use the screening to assess a feasible pipeline of prospects. You have new leadership and shifting priorities in terms of pipeline development or even new resource allocations available. Say you just got an additional researcher and you have the time now to tackle something like this. Departmental priorities necessitating a review of specific donors. This is really applicable, say, if you work at an academic institution where you may have an engineering department or a health science department, things of that nature. You need to screen your entire database. This is fairly common practice in our field. This usually should happen every 4 years or so. Or you just had a very successful annual fund campaign and you have many new prospects without a rating. A little more on implementation. Why is the screening needed? You need to know this first. There can be a lot of different variables and it's important to completely understand this. How many to screen? Is it going to be 100, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000? All that's important to know. And is there going to be a frequency with these screenings? Say if you have a grateful patient program, are you going to screen every day, every week, every month? All important things to know. Is there portfolio bandwidth? Hopefully with screening these new individuals, you can start the conversation of putting new prospects in fundraisers' portfolios. Who is your best choice of vendor? Who gets results and how are results handed out? And if possible, you want to integrate results into any current processes you are doing. Let's talk a little bit about vendor testing. You would want to prepare a free test file of records. Now, this varies from vendor to vendor, but a free test file is usually between 250 and 1,000 records. You'll want to include a control group. These are names that you know well. But you also want to include common surnames and unique surnames. You'll want to include unrated individuals with not a lot of institutional information. And you want to make sure you remove anyone who already has been recently rated. You don't want to spend your time or the vendor's time doing a rating on someone that you've already looked at recently. And ask questions. Typical match rate for major gift prospects in this industry is around 70%. You want to keep track of that in terms of what the vendor's match rate is. Ask what is unique to their product. They'll love talking to you about that. And ask if there are any CRM or database integrations or overlays for their product to make it even easier for you to access that information. And ask more questions. The method of results delivery. Again, is there any system integration? Web-based results are great, or is it just going to be a flat file of Excel? And are the top prospects going to be delivered differently? Will they have maybe some additional bio information included? All great things to know. Involvement in results delivered. Will you have a person dedicated to oversee this process? And any additional services offered by the vendors. That could be training, some additional research verification, or access to FTP and or encrypted services. All right, let's talk about costs. So you'll want to follow up with the vendor with the results that best meet your organization's needs, regardless of price. You'll want to have candid conversations with the vendors of pros and cons that they can or can't provide. Can a rate be adjusted or folded into a new and potential contract? You know, sometimes vendors are more willing to work with you if you signed a multi-year contract as opposed to just a contract for a specific screening. And if not, can they provide more services for the same rate? It's really essential that you know what you're getting for the price. And if you never ask, you never know. This is also the perfect time to reinforce any budgetary limitations you may have. All right, let's talk about comparisons. It's handy to keep track of differences and similarities between the vendors that you chose to do test files with. You'll want to create a spreadsheet whether it's Excel, Smartsheet, whatever, of what each vendor can and can't deliver, and even how fast results are delivered. Track who had the best results in terms of match rate and accuracy of capacities. And, it's important to share this information with your colleagues and be transparent on your findings. Last but certainly not least, you'll want to show and show off your results. You can do this by creating a data visualization for people to review. You want to keep it simple. Focus on capacity breakdown, match rate, and vendor score breakdown. There are many free resources. PictoChart is just one of them that you can utilize. By taking this data and making it yours, you are effectively crafting your own brands. This is the quickest way for you to be recognized by colleagues. And I have an actual PictoChart to show you. So this is something that we did at NPR, and it's fairly simple. Again, it has the match rate. It has how people fit into buckets in terms of vendor scores, and also how people fit into buckets around estimated capacity. Thank you very much for your time. Please be on the lookout for more Apra Bytes in the near future.